All right. Bruh, I got your six. Can you hear me? Com check. You guys hear me at all? Nothing? I know you guys can see me right now. Hey, all right. Sweet. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and so I don't forget it. Hey Mup, appreciate the $10. I saw that. So long time no see for a lot of people. As you guys know, I haven't really been on Instagram. So it's been actually a really nice break. I'll probably come back here pretty soon, but it's just life is busy right now. So, um, as to address a couple things, as always, thanks for everything that you guys are doing. We really appreciate the support. All the merch you guys are buying, all the subscribing, liking, commenting, and all that kind of stuff. It helps us out. We really appreciate it, and it helps us know that what we're doing is actually worthwhile and all that kind of stuff. So definitely appreciate it and keep it up. And go ahead and silence that. And speaking of merch, if you guys haven't been to onesready.com, we've got merch there. We've got blankets, hoodies, shirts, hats, bunch of stickers. I don't even announce it. I just randomly put stuff up there. So go check it out. And then also, as you guys know, we've got all of our partners, our Alpha Brew, Trench Coffee, Cardo Max, Strikeforce Energy, Eat Release Stock, Outer Eggs, Pomade, Hoist, and all that kind of stuff. So check them out. Use our promo code One's Ready, and then if you're going to Eberly stock, it's OR10. So let's see. We got some exciting guests coming on for you guys today. Hopefully, you guys have liked the kind of deep dive series that we've gone into with the global access and the precision strike. And then we'll have one more for you releasing next week, which is based off of personnel recovery. So Aaron and I hit that. I also got Chief Master Sergeant Ivan Ruiz coming on. We've already recorded, so that's good. He gives a it was a really good one actually. He's a good friend of mine, and he goes into some stuff like Katrina and all that kind of stuff. So it's really good. And then who else have we got? We got Sean Matson from Cardo Max who came on, and then we just recorded one this morning with Taylor Starch. He's a strength and conditioning coach for Special Tactics. So we're excited to have him on. He'll probably come on several more times because you'll find out later on, but we got starched basically. And you'll find out what that means when that episode releases. But um, the dude is wicked smart. It's incredible to even to even talk to him. And I'm sure you can see the during the episode, you'll see me gloss over a little bit. Let's see what else we got. Let's hit the chat for some questions if you guys got. I'm here to answer any kind of questions you guys got. I've got a hard out at 12:30 though, so I got to bounce then. But newest news on TACP WaterCon. Yes, it's coming. So like TACPs historically have not really done the swimming, and they still won't do the same level of WaterCon that the PJCCT SR do. But I mean, some of that WaterCon is going to come, and if you think about it like this, it's not a matter of trying to select people. Swimming and being able to save yourself and your own life is pretty damn important. And if you can save the life of somebody else, that's even better. So by having that kind of swimming confidence and the ability to swim and the ability to jump into an unknown depth of water with unknown conditions and be able to go and save somebody or save yourself, I think that's pretty important. So I'm a firm believer that the TACPs need to integrate that into their pipeline, and they're going to. But again, it's not going to be at the depth of the CCT, PJ, or SR. Bro, I got your six. Appreciate the super chat. Just wanted to ask if you need to be a great swimmer to be a TACP or a CCT. I have a slight problem with my ear going deep underwater for long periods. So TACP, again, you don't have to be a great swimmer. You just need to be able to swim and rescue yourself. It's minimum water con. And then CCT, you're going to have to do ANS and pre-dive and dive school and all that kind of stuff. So you're essentially a combat diver, or not essentially, you are a combat diver as a combat controller. So your water skills are going to have to be way up there. And if you guys notice, I keep going bouncing back and forth between a camera. I've got a camera up here that I normally use, and I'm so used to staring at it, but I couldn't get it to work earlier. That's why we had to restart. So what other questions have I got here? Oh, it looks like Aaron's in the comments and Trent. So let's see what else we got. Greetings from Raft Lake and Heath. All right, I love that place. Spent 8 years out of Mildenhall. Yes, I was out at Mildenhall. So was Aaron. I'm looking for a pool to start. So I haven't been there in a while, but the Mildenhall, downtown Mildenhall, had a pool, and we would go there and swim on a fairly regular basis. With COVID and stuff like that, I'm not sure if they're open yet or if it still exists, but there was a pool in downtown Mildenhall. So go check that one out if it's still there. Have you known any dual citizens in special tactics, and have they had any problems with it, or had they give up dual citizenship? No, we have people that have dual citizenship. It's I mean you're still a U.S. citizen. Um, when you fill out your security clearance, you just got to be open and honest in there, and you know don't ever change your story whenever you're doing an investigation or filling out your paperwork. That's the biggest thing is you got to be honest, one, but you have to remain consistent. So the issues that people come up with is on their initial investigation, 10 years later when they do a reinvestigation, the issue comes up with, well, you just change your story. And some of that is, hey, memory loss and, hey, well, I forgot to mention that. But some of it is they're trying to find inconsistencies in your story. So be open, be honest, be transparent, and be consistent. What kind of numbers should retrainees put up in the past has to be competitive? So the one thing that I always preach, and I don't know if Aaron and Trent would agree with me, I think they would, but whether you're a cross trainee or whether you're a normal trainee, what I would do is get to a point of fitness that you can crush. And I don't mean like demolish, but I mean easily get more pull ups, push ups, the run, and all that kind of stuff for the past any time of day, whether you trained already that day or not. So if I said right now, hey, you've got 10 minutes to get all your stuff on, go out there and execute a pass test, I better be able to pass that pass test, even if I've already trained today. It could be 2 a.m. Wake me up. Hey, you've got 20 minutes, knock out a pass test, and be able to, crush the pass test. Once you're able to do that, you're good. One of the things that you want to make sure you're doing though is don't just train for running. Don't just train for pull-ups or push-ups or whatever like that, and then say, "Hey, I'm ready for the pass test." Make sure that you tie all of those movements and you actually conduct a mock pass test. The reason why is because the pass test is designed to fatigue you. Like if you notice, you're doing all the cows, and especially like people go ham on the sit-ups, crush their hip flexors, and then when they go to run, they're hurting really bad. So make sure you put all those together. Do mock pass tests. I know the developers are doing them with the special operations recruiters. So do those, and then say you're ready. Super chat. Oh, I missed it. Where'd it go? Is a civilian with a degree able to go stow route? Yeah. So, and we should probably put it on our website. It's just the reason why we don't is because they update it so often that we can probably look into doing that. Or if you send us rather. Sorry, Aaron. Sorry, Trent. Uh, if you send us an email at info@onesready.com, we can send you the stow selection package, and it gives all the information on who to contact, what level of fitness you need to be, and the civilian to stow route. Let's see. Currently in the Air Force Reserves, I'm going to have to leave and apply for a Spec War slot through the prior service program. Do you have any tips to help strengthen my package? Attention to detail, right? Um, the thing you kind of look at, right, is if you've ever looked at a PowerPoint presentation that has a misspelling, like the slide has a misspelling on it, and you're paying attention to it, and you see it. It's silly and it's admin and mistakes happen, right? But even if we put a post out, say I write an Instagram post and it posts, you better believe there's a bunch of comments or a bunch of something that I put the wrong there or I put the wrong your, right? It's just by accident. It's not that I'm ignorant, but I am dumb. But it's just happens and autocorrect didn't catch it, or I just didn't catch it because I'm typing on my phone. So, but you can't forget it. You can't unsee it. So that's one of the things that you want to make sure that your grammar is correct, your spelling is correct. Pay attention to detail so that your package is solid, and then you don't have to worry about it. Well, maybe you do have to worry about it, but that will help stand out because if there's a mistake, it's kind of like it's hard to unsee it. Hopefully that makes sense. Man, Trent's hacking away in here. With the recent information that dropped about the female in combat control school, how do you feel about it? So one thing that I won't do is I won't address it um, because that is way above me, and I will leave that to the powers that be to handle that. One's Ready is not in the business of getting involved in that kind of stuff because one, it doesn't help. Two, like we're here for you guys and girls, right? We're the whole purpose is to answer questions, provide insight and details into what aspect war is, not to address the soap opera that sometimes occurs. Sorry, I'm just reading these. What did I do? I know centuries ago. It wasn't centuries ago, Kyle. Come on now. Um, but do I remember what I did to prep to join? So I just did the pass test because we didn't have special operations recruiters, we didn't have developers. Uh, CrossFit at the time, I mean, though it existed, I didn't know about it. There weren't a lot of these online programs, so my parents, fortunately, um, paid to have a personal trainer for about 2 months because I didn't know what I was doing. I was just a soccer player. Um, so they paid for a personal trainer for about 2 months so that I get education. And then I stopped that because it was kind of expensive and then signed up to one of the Globo gyms with the information and the training that I already had and just kept doing, pull-ups, push-ups, running, swimming and all that kind of stuff. If I were to train for it now, I'd train a lot different. I would run more, swim more. I would ruck. Um, 45 pounds at the most, 3 miles, 6 miles, that kind of stuff. And I'd work on grip strength because that's huge. Oh boy, there's a lot of questions in here. Mm-mm. Looking at a different route to join, any major reasons why you'd recommend CCT versus going for SF? Both jobs seem really great and both attract me. Yeah, okay, so between us and Special Force, I almost said Security Force because that's what the Air Force calls it, is SF. But Special Force. So again, it depends on what you want to do. If you want to kind of do the SF mission, like that's great, and that is a righteous mission. And I love all my Green Beret buddies out there. But if you want to work airfields, you want to do the Joint Terminal Attack Controller or the JTAC gig, you want to dip into some other realms, and you also want to work with a whole bunch of people versus your singular team, then CCT is the way to go for you. If you want to kind of be on one team, really, really close knit, and kind of stay in that for the majority of your career, then you want to go SF. And there, you've got your 18 alphas, your officers, you got your bravos, who are your infantrymen, your Charlies, which are your engineers and explosive experts. Who am I forgetting? Your deltas, which are your medical focus, and your echoes, which are your comms experts. So, and there's a foxtrot as well, but I won't go into what they do. So it all depends on what you want to do, man. I'm missing some. Uh, whatever works. Bear with me. I'm just trying to get through all these because Trent and Aaron are answering a bunch of them. Okay, there's a super chat. I'll just answer this. How can I run the 10-minute mile and a half? My fastest mile is 8 minutes, and I'm gassed at the end. Man, so I can't wait for you to listen to Taylor Starch, the strength and conditioning coach that we had on. We recorded it this morning. It probably won't release for another month, but we actually did an episode on this early on that you can search for. Um, but you got to make sure that you are doing not only your long, slow distance, you got to be doing sprints, you got to be doing interval training, um, you got to be doing track work. You also have to be willing to recover, and you got to be willing to sometimes actually walk. And Trent and I were talking about this with Taylor today. Actually, it's like sometimes you just need to go out and you need to walk. You got to help um, strengthen those joints and strengthen your knees and that kind of stuff. And it sounds silly, and you're like, what am I actually getting out this? And I'd be lying to you if I told you that I could speak intelligently and scientifically on this. But we started going into the what aerobic versus anaerobic and that kind of stuff. And he used a whole bunch of words that I don't even remember and know what they mean, but make sure you're mixing it up. Interval training, sprints, hit or high intensity interval training, and your long slow distance runs. You've got to build up your O2, your cardiovascular, so your heart. And like I said, he started talking about like how much your vascular heart expansion and all that kind of stuff. So just keep at it. Don't get discouraged. It's I posted about it the other day, I believe, but like where you're at right now is a snapshot in your life, which is a big film reel, right? It's a big movie, and right now it's a snapshot. You're getting frustrated, even if you were running a 10-minute mile and a half, right? You're going to reach a plateau, and you're not going to improve until you do some things to help change it, and then you'll start to improve even more. Hope that answers your question. I probably did a typical chief thing and just skirted the actual answer. What is being exceptionally directionally challenged? What's the best way to get better at land nav? Okay, and reading a map. Well, we will actually teach you how to land nav. We'll teach you how to read a map. So we like to have blank slates when you arrive. If it's one thing if you were a shooter before you came in, or you went hunting or you did some land nav, that's great. And it's not necessarily going to hurt you, but there are probably some bad habits that you have learned, unfortunately, while you're doing that. We like you to come. If you already have that kind of training and knowledge, great. If not, you don't need to go get books. You don't need to purposely go out and do it. We want you to be a blank slate so that we can train you how we want you to be, because we want everybody to have the same baseline of shooting and tactics, ability to communicate, land nav, that kind of stuff. So um, don't go out there and get books or anything like that. We will teach you how to do that. Former Army, Airborne Infantry. This was years ago, but I've heard ST has less drama culture wise than other soft. I mean, the best way I can say it is that whether you're 82nd, 101st, or whatever, like you guys have your own BS that you're dealing with, your own drama that you're dealing with. We have BS and drama too. Ours is just different, right? It's not better or worse. It's just different, and that's all it is. The Air Force has drama and BS that they're dealing with. I mean, we're Air Force, but a lot of times we're not necessarily dealing with. Sometimes their BS is our BS, but it's just different. It's not that it's any more, any less, or any worse, or any better. It's just different. Good gosh. Hey guys, this is a lot different than the Instagram thing. It's hard to keep up with these. I have a troop who wants to train to be SR also, but he's color challenged. I've read the medical waiver docs. Has anybody met a colorblind operator? Well, one, we always say that we can't necessarily answer medical questions, but there are severities of color blindness. So he just needs to make sure that he or she goes to, um, get checked out, and they'll figure it out in the flight physical that they've got to get, and then they will figure out from there whether or not their deficiency is bad enough to not be able to enter, or if it's at a level where they can still enter the pipeline and be accepted. Let's see. Have you heard about MEPS now being able to see pharmacy and medical records? Do you think this will affect the amount of guys coming to AFSOC? Most people I know hit stuff in their, I guess that means military records. I, I would caution saying that MEPS or the military is able to dip into, um, medical records of another place, because that's a lot of that's HIPAA, and you'd be amazed that these systems don't really talk well together. So, like I said at the beginning, regarding the security clearance, just be open, honest, and transparent, and then we'll go from there. It is not our goal to, or the medical practitioner's goals to disqualify people. Um, a lot of times when people get disqualified, I was messaging somebody who had um, scoliosis, but it was very mild, and they were only a percent or two off, and they were really upset. And okay, maybe they would have been fine throughout their career, but at the same time, what if we prevented? I say we. What if the medical practitioners that disqualified him prevented him from getting a serious injury that would have screwed up his back for the rest of his life, and then he would have been, I mean, he would have been screwed. He would have been forced retired, lived with pain for the rest of his life. So it's not, like I said, it's not that we're going out of our way to try and disqualify people. That's not what we're doing, because we know that there are tons of fantastic people out there that are extremely capable that would be great operators. But the problem is that we also have to look at the longevity. We put a lot of money into training each and every one of us. I mean, it would be mind blowing after 22 years. Like, tried to calculate how much money was spent training me. So we don't want that to happen, and we're not in the business of permanently hurting people, and that's why he got disqualified. But you know, so just be open and honest is what I'm getting at. Would you consider delusional as a good or bad characteristic? Delusional people, I don't even know how to answer that. I got to be honest. Being delusional. Um, Currently training very hard, 3 to 4 hours a day. What's the best way to help myself recover? Well, you need to eat right. You need to sleep a lot, right? The harder you train during the day, the more sleep and recovery you need to get. So, I mean, I don't know your life situation or anything like that, but um, I even on the weekends when I have nothing going on, I wake up at 5:45, um, because if you read the book by Dr. Matt Walker, it's about consistency. So whether I have work days or whether I have days off, I'm waking up at 5:45 just to keep my body on a rhythm. And then I try and be in bed pretty freaking, I mean, by everybody else's standards, probably pretty early, but I try and stay consistent just to ensure that I maximize my recovery and keep my body where it's at. So eat well, sleep well, and that'll help you recover. Uh, John Pierre Peaches, I'm thinking about going Air Guard once my Army time is done. Is it harder to get into TACP if you weren't prior service? Now we take prior service all the time. Um, I mean, we got a lot. In fact, I couldn't even tell you how many people we have at the unit that are prior service, but we have a lot of senior NCOs, and we have at least 3 officers that I can think of at mine and Aaron's unit alone that are cross trainees. And then prior unit, I had one guy on my team. Him and I, or he was prior Army. I think he was 82nd Airborne or something like that. So yeah, we take prior service all the time. I got about 2 more minutes before I got to bounce. Like I said, I got a hard out. What rucking frequency do you recommend to prepare for ANS? It kind of depends on how long before you enter the pipeline, but I would really only do kind of once every 2 weeks. If you're really about to enter or you're really concerned about it, you may want to go once a week, but just go 45 pounds, go out for 3 miles, and try and hit that 15-minute pace on flat terrain. So that standard is 15-minute a mile on flat, paved or dirt, but not like sand. So that's the standard. If you're in the hills and going stuff like that, and you're frustrated that you're not making a 15-minute mile, like, well, that's not the standard. So, all right, guys, girls, I'll take one more, and then I got to bounce. Um, do you know any groups that I can train with, get mentored by at Milton Hall? Big time runner, swimmer, trying to get back. They just head over to 321st. Go over there, knock on the door, and ask somebody to train with. I mean, I it's a small unit. Those guys are really, really busy. So they may just go, "Hey, man, beat it. Sorry, can't do it." Um, but you also kind of need to learn to train on your own as well, just because there's not always going to be a group available to you. So, you guys, there's a couple different plans out there. You guys can check out 18 Alpha Fitness. They've got a lot of plans. Brian has plans as well. So check them out and we'll go from there. All right. I really do got to go. Thanks for tuning in. Hope everybody's enjoying their Sunday, and you guys take care. Later.